Thank you, Phyllis. That was just beautiful. Good morning, I'm Dan, and I am your song leader today. I'm part of the music team. And please join me in saying our affirmation welcome. We are Unity of Bloomington. We provide inspiration, tools, and practices that support people on their path of spiritual growth. We teach and live unconditional love, universal truth, and abundant life. Please stand and join us in singing our opening welcome song. Everything I need to know about what lies before me, everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to be at peace about what lies before me, everything I need to be at peace about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me. Everything I need to know about what lies before me, everything I need to know about what lies before me is available to me, is available to me through the mind of God within me, through the mind of God within me, through the mind of God within me. Thank you. We're now having a moment to greet our neighbors. So please say hello, shake hands, say good morning.
Nice, very nice.
Wonderful. That's Phyllis's song, you know. She not only wrote it, she directed the choir. Thank you, Phyllis. Wonderful. Good morning. Good morning. Good to see you this morning on this second Sunday in Advent. Lots of spiritual communities are using the Advent wreath as kind of a focus for the 4 Sundays before Christmas. Traditionally, last week was hope. This week is peace. So we acknowledge that, and we join with them in affirming a sense of peace, the necessity for peace, and the possibility of peace this season. We've added an additional meaning to these 4 candles here in our 4 Sundays before Christmas. We're talking about 4 different pathways, 4 different types of spiritual practices and spiritual principles that philosophers students of religion have found. Last week we talked about the path of the heart, the path of devotion, of emotional worship, of just believe, just have faith, just accept the tradition, accept the way things have been, and let that carry you to the Christ child. That's kind of the path of Mary and her love and devotion, and Joseph and his faith. Today we're talking about the path of the mind, of what we know, what we really believe, what we have discovered is true for us. That's the path of the wise men, the kings. We'll call them the wise ones. That's pretty much a central path for unity, because unity is based on reframing some of the traditional Christian beliefs and doctrines and dogmas and practices to make them relevant, to make them make sense, to make them available to our lives. So we're going to light a second candle. And in your tradition, you have a family come up and light one of the Advent candles. So today, Karen Williams and Wendy Wonderly are going to come up and light one. One of the purple ones. Yes. Good. Thank you. I'm going to have to work on that one. Over the course of my journey, I've been part of, one of the elements of my journey has been men's groups, and some secular ones and some with a spiritual kind of component. What was it called? I went to one that was started by a Marine officer and a Jungian analyst. I was really into getting, really facing your fears and your emotions. Well, a Catholic priest went to that and added a spiritual component to it. And so I was part of that group. But it was still kind of a traditional thing, and there were a lot of evangelicals in it. And we would meet regularly and do a check-in. And at one of the check-ins, one man said that he had an issue, a problem that was disturbing him. His son, who was I'm thinking in his early 20s. Didn't want to go to church anymore. He said that he really couldn't get into the beliefs. He was doubting the traditional interpretation. And this is going to an evangelical church that was very traditional. And so he brought that concern to this men's group. And, a lot of times I just blurt things out. And I said, well, Jesus called a doubter to be part of his leadership team, Thomas. It's okay to doubt. Well, in that path of the heart, it's not okay to doubt. It's not okay to think. You just believe. Well, science doesn't have much of a place there. The inquiry of philosophy doesn't have much of a place there. In the only believe community, well, there are others. There's a spiritual tradition of thinking, inquiring, looking for evidence. Historians looking at what really happened. Is what's in the Bible really true? How much of that is historical fact? It's like, well, Virgin Mary, well, there were a lot of virgin births. Cyrus in Egypt, and Pythagoras even in Greece, and Zoroaster in the Middle East. So that was kind of like a symbol of saying, this is a special person. So maybe she wasn't a virgin. What's that do to the story? What about the idea that Herod got so angry that the wise men wouldn't tell him where the baby was, that he killed all the babies around Jerusalem that were 2 years and younger? Well, wasn't that the same story of Moses? Same story about Krishna. It's like, this is a special person, here's a special story. What do we do about the fact that it's not factual? We can doubt it. Christmas, Jesus probably wasn't born in Christmas. He was probably a Pisces. But Christmas, the Roman holiday at the end of the year, the celebration of the sun coming back, was a really good time to set a holiday celebrating the birth of the sun. So if a lot of things in the Bible aren't factually true, what do you do with that? Some people just say it's irrelevant. It doesn't make sense. I want nothing to do with it. What do you do with the story? Well, in our tradition, we say, I can learn something about myself with the story, because the story is larger than the facts. It points to a truth that transcends historical events and literal meaning. We call that a metaphysical interpretation. What part of that is me? What part of the wise ones going on a journey is about my being a spiritual seeker, about my seeking understanding, making sense of the big questions in life? So, this path of the mind is present within Christianity. Professors in seminaries talk about it, teach about it. I went to a Methodist seminary as a Unity student, and one of the things that my classmates said to me is how lucky I am. They said, "You're so lucky. On Sundays, you can preach and teach about what you really believe. Yeah, that's the truth. It's like they had to be careful to not upset the people that they were talking to. Because people get upset if you challenge what's traditional, what's always been. There's a Catholic priest named Matthew Fox who wrote a lot of really, really good books. One of them is called, about the cosmic Christ and original blessing, saying there wasn't original sin, there's original blessing, the basic goodness of humanity, the presence of God in everything. And he was lecturing all over the country. And the powers that be within the Catholic Church silenced him. He wasn't allowed to speak for 6 months. I don't know if he wasn't allowed to teach. I don't know if he could talk to neighbors or order something at a restaurant or not, but he wasn't allowed to teach. And so after 6 months, he was doing a presentation at the Unity Church of Seattle. And he started it by saying, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. And he kept it. Well, he's Episcopalian now. He's the director of the Creation-Centered Seminary in San Francisco. Richard Rohr, a Catholic priest who talks about meditation and action, is very popular now in the Catholic Church, criticizing, offering different perspectives, carefully couched in traditional language. So it's like Bishop Spong's books were very popular with New Thought, New Age people, because he was saying there are certain things that the church has gotten wrong, challenging the ideas, presenting new ideas. What's it gotten wrong? What do we disagree with? Well, one of the main things that we disagree with is that there's two powers. A power of good and a power of evil, that there's a war going on between the good God and Satan. Well, there's only one presence and one power, absolute goodness. There's certainly a presence of disorder and chaos and evil in the world, but it doesn't come from a power that's at war with God. It comes from ignorance of humanity, the incompletion of creation, or maybe the necessity of chaos to be part of the creative process. That's a really big question. Lots of thought and ideas going into that, but we don't believe in depravity, in Satan, or in human depravity. I grew up with that one in the Lutheran Church. A worm of the dust. We have nothing within us that we can count on. We rely on some alien power to come in and save us and beam us up to some la-la land. And that Jesus was a sacrifice to appease an angry God, a God that was angry about humanity's disobedience. Or maybe Jesus was a ransom that was paid to Satan to release us from hell. No. So lots of people are criticizing not only all the teachings of the tribal war god from the Hebrew Bible, but a lot of the ideas mainly from Paul in the New Testament, in the Christian Testament. So it's easy to say, no, not that. No, not that. Well, if not that, then what? Well, God is present within us. That's the second principle that we talk about, Unity's basic teachings. Richard Rohr, the Catholic priest, is even using the same terms that we do, that the Christ is present in everyone, that the Christ is present in animals and trees and wood and in rocks and in the earth. That Christ is an idea from the mind of God for everything that exists. It's a holy idea, and there's an energy that comes with that idea. The Holy Spirit is what they call it there, or Shakti in the Hindu tradition. The energy is there for the idea to unfold. So, then there's the 5 principles of unity. You know, one presence, goodness within us, power of thought, power of prayer. The most positive, powerful thoughts we can have are prayer thoughts of affirmation and meditation. And then living out our beliefs, the practical application of spiritual principles. Because this is the arena for spiritual growth. This is the arena for creation. So, what do you believe? What ideas did you say, "No, I can't take that"? What ideas said to you, "Well, now this makes sense. This feels good. This doesn't push buttons in my mind"? In some sense, we're all seekers. In some sense, we're all on a journey to Bethlehem, a journey to the light, a journey to the experience of the Christ. And so we're like the wise ones, traveling, following a star, being oriented to something that's taking us where we want to go. And we are like the wise ones, each bearing gifts to make a difference in the world. Gold, value, frankincense is a beauty. Myrrh is a preservative. It's about lasting things, eternality. So we're on a journey, bearing gifts. We are the kings. We're the wise ones. We're going to sing about that. We're going to tell their story here in song, or part of it. We Three Kings.
Beyond the storm.
that up for a minute. We could probably go through this song and underline quite a few things that we disagree with, that we would revise if we were rewriting it from a unity, more enlightened or progressive point of view. But there's something about the tradition that's rich, that in spite of what it says, we can still enter into it. That's the heart path. So we can accept that. We don't have to revise everything. We can reinterpret it. And it's important to know what it is that we believe. You can put the next slide on. Have you been to a Christian Science church? Virtually everyone in the world has the same thing up in front. You know what that is? It says, God is love. Going back to the late 1800s, that insight was life-changing. God is love. That insight was healing. God is not the judgmental, tribal war god that's going to get you. That's going to see you when you're sleeping. He knows when you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good, so be good for goodness sake. So that idea is everywhere. No, God is love. And that idea that you can turn to the divine, align yourself in prayer, in understanding with the way things are in an absolute sense, can transform your life, can heal you. There are Christian Science churches all over the place. Nice ones. Pretty empty ones right now. Because the insight that their founder had was declared to be changeless. You couldn't change it. The insight from the 1870s and 80s needed to evolve. Unity's understanding evolves. The co-founders of Unity commissioned Emily Cady to write a textbook, kind of getting all of the basic Unity understandings together, and called Lessons in Truth. And there's one thing in there that there's several things in there that I disagree with, because Unity has evolved away from the idea that old age, suffering, death, and disease are not real. Not real. Only God is real. Well, that's the influence of the Theosophical Society, influence of Eastern spirituality that says, we live in a world of illusion. This is all Maya. This is all a dream. We need to wake up from this dream and go to somewhere else. The purpose of spirituality is to be saved, to graduate from the wheel of birth and rebirth, that somehow we're in the wrong place here. We're stuck in a world of suffering and shame. We're slaves to the gross material plane. Couldn't buy that. I couldn't buy that in yoga. I couldn't buy that in Unity. But Unity has this teaching that says it's practical. We're here to make a difference in the world. That the Holy Spirit, the direction in which spiritual energy moves, is into the world to establish goodness in our lives, to establish health and vitality and abundant life. in our experience and in the experience of the world. In the Eastern Orthodox Church, Christmas is the number one holiday because it says God is here in the world, here in us, with us. And we celebrate that. And that we are here as agents of the divine to make a difference here in the world. So Unity's ideas are evolving. Significant evolution in Unity has taken place in the last 30 years or so, or less, where it's opening up the heart, opening up to being truthful about the issues that we're facing, instead of saying, all is well, all is well, all is well. We call that covering things with an asphalt of affirmation. Okay? You know, when you bury something that's alive in the horror movies, it comes back angry and ugly. Okay? Okay? So it's the same thing with about us. You know, so we really have to be honest about what's going on, and Unity is becoming more inclusive of emotional issues and dealing with the shadow, dealing with unfinished business. So Unity is evolving and keeps evolving, and the challenge is, what are we going to do to stay out on the leading edge of spiritual growth? Because a lot of things in mainline Christianity are catching up with us. They're adopting much of what we have been teaching that was radical 100 years ago. Because the ideas are good that we have. What idea do you like in Unity? What is it that caught your attention? You're here because there's something that Unity teaches and says and does that you like. Did any of you grow up in Unity? That's unanimous. Yeah, we all came from somewhere else. And we came because something got our attention, because there's something going on here that we agree with, that we like. What ideas drew you here? What truth keeps you here? You were seeking. What did you find? It's important that you're clear, or you remember that. And maybe say it to yourself, to hold on to it. What was the central principle that got your attention? So there were several for me. Christ in you, Christ in me, the presence of God within me. That started me on my spiritual path when I took an Oriental philosophy class in college. And I got that from reading the Bhagavad Gita. And it got me interested in yoga. But then, you know, and that was really interesting, the yoga. And that idea of the presence of God within, but and the stories about the different gods. It's like, yeah, I could understand those, because I wouldn't take them literally. I went to a Unity church, and they were telling the story of the Exodus and saying, we don't need to take this literally. It's an allegory. Take it personally. Take it in, metaphysical interpretation. Wow. They said, oh, you mean this stuff in the Bible means something to me? That was inspiring. Christ in me, always with me. Thy will be done. I consent to the kingdom of God. So those are some phrases that really are connected with my core understanding of spiritual principles. What about you? Say it to yourself. We're going to use a phrase that's important to you as a star to follow in meditation. Okay? I'm going to talk about it first. We're not. Okay? It's a journey inward to light or peace, a star to follow, to reorient you when your mind wanders. And so it's good to know that what we really believe to be reoriented when our life wanders. Sometimes we end up getting off track. And it's good to know what we really believe to get back onto the journey and following the star. And the same thing's true whenever we turn within to meditate, our mind goes off. We need something to bring the mind back. So we're going to use the idea that captured you, one of them, that brought you here to this community. It's called, this is kind of like the Catholic process of centering prayer, which is a blend of mindfulness and mantra meditation. So you have something to focus your mind, but then you don't just keep focusing at one point. You say it to get oriented, and then you wait, and you watch, and you listen, and wait. Oh, wait, I got distracted there. Wait, I come back and say what it is, your center, your star, your focus, and then listen. Allow whatever's going on in your life to be present, but not distract you and take your attention. Oh, there's an idea about that allergy that I have, and there's that issue about that I have with my wife, and there's I need to pay that bill. You notice it, and then come back. You have a star that orients you. You notice where you are, you notice what's happening, and you let everything in, and you keep moving. You stay on the journey like the wise men following the star through the darkness. So, we're going to start the process of going into meditation by singing the Lord's Prayer. It's not a Christmas song. It's an all-year-long song. It has elements that trigger a lot of people. The whole thing triggers some people. It's something that's heart-opening for me. It has an energy to it. If you think about how many people have said these words over the last 2,000 years, there's something about joining together in consciousness with so many people. There's something about joining together in physical presence with people. Have you noticed that if you go to a meditation group or class, it seems to be easier to meditate with other people than it is at home by yourself? That's a message for you people watching on video. Okay? If you join us here, you'll feel more. You get carried along by the energy and the movement of the community. So we're going to sing the Lord's Prayer. We're going to drop physically into our chairs, into quietness, and think about life and love and light. And in the light, we're going to remember our idea, the important idea we have that's like a star that we follow. And we're going to follow it to the light of Christ. So now we join together in the words of the Lord's Prayer. let go. Let go into that chair. Let it hold you up. There is a center of life energy there that embraces your whole body, and it is supported by the chair, connected with the earth, and all is well with it. Move your attention up to your heart. Let it be open. Let it be open to the flow of absolute goodness, of unconditional love. Know that you're in the right place, and all is well. And then bring your attention to your mind, the light of mind. There's a statement of truth that is important to you. Let your mind rest on that statement. Let that statement be a guiding light, an orienting star. Say it and pause. Say it, pause. Listen to it. Follow it. Follow it to a quiet place, to a holy place. If your mind wanders, remember your truth statement and let it orient you to your journey to the silence of pure being. A journey to the light of Christ, to the presence of peace and oneness. Follow, move to the silence. You've made a journey to the light of the world. You can repeat this journey on your own, in your own place, at your own pace, in your own place, time. You are one of the kings, one of the wise ones, bearing gifts. You have gifts only you can give. Gifts of value, beauty, eternality, lasting differences that you can make. What shall you do? What should you say? Where will you be as an offering of infinite love and wisdom's emissary, as a co-creator with absolute goodness? With whom will you share your gifts? We do so. We enter into the totality of our lives with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of praise, recognizing the source with the traditional prayer. Alleluia. Alleluia. Oh, yes. Hallelujah. So what are you doing for the rest of Sunday? What are you doing for the rest of this first week in January? Who are you going to see? What are you going to say? What do you have planned? Bless all of it. Put the next slide. So we're going to bless all of the ways that we allow goodness to flow through us, all of our giving of time, talent, and treasure. Is there something that you would ask in prayer? Do you have a particular prayer request for something that's coming up or someone that you know? You could fill that out now. You could put it in the offering bag when it comes by. And we're forming a prayer team of people that have agreed to pray with you for your prayer requests, all of the prayer requests that come in to Unity of Bloomington. If you would like to do that, put your name on that prayer request form and say team or something like that. Silent Unity, Bloomington Silent Unity Prayer Team. And you'll get an email every week listing the prayer requests. And you can pray with them however you might. If you're a newcomer, we're glad that you're here. Welcome. If you're a newcomer, you can see things here freshly. You see things that we don't notice anymore. And so there's a sheet on the seat back there that says, First Impressions. Give us your first impressions, if you would. And so, we have an affirmation of abundant life. It has to do with everything that we do. So sit down for a minute. Okay? This isn't the love offering blessing. This is the blessing of the whole week, of everything that we're doing. Okay? Let's declare this together. I'm an abundant being, living in an abundant universe. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, give my best, and now attract the best in every experience. And so now we bless the giving of tithes and love offerings in support of Unity of Bloomington. And this same affirmation blesses every breath that we take, every step we take, every word we give, every connection we make. Let's bless this together. Let's affirm this together. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And I am grateful. And let's sing another Christmas song. Christians all rejoice with heart and soul and voice. Give ye heed to what we say. Jesus Christ is born today. Ox and ass before him bow, and he is in the manger now. Christ is born today. Christ is born today. Good Christians all rejoice. Soul and voice, now ye hear of endless bliss. Jesus Christ was born for this. He hath opened the heavenly door, and man is blessed evermore. Christ was born for this. Christ was born for this. We have a few announcements. We have the information for Janice Jaffe's memorial service, December 11th, 4 o'clock, Woolry Hall. It's too late for Christmas choir, isn't it, fellas?
No, you can come today.
Oh, okay, you can stay.
We're starting a new one, and
All
we'll
right.
sing in 2 weeks. Join
They're
us.
starting a new song that you're going to sing in 2 weeks, right? Okay. If you would like to help out as a greeter or as an usher at the Sunday service, we can use you. We will not use you up. Okay? And the survey. Any other announcements? Thursday evening, we had a nice turnout last Thursday, about 15 people coming to talk about what's next. We talked about inspiration, having a spiritual experience, and we talked about building community, that those two things are essential for the vitality of a spiritual community, helping people connect with each other and connect with God. So we're going to talk about that again this Thursday, 6:30, and it's open to everybody. And we welcome everybody because we don't know what we're doing by ourselves, but when we get together, there's something wonderful that happens. There's guidance and inspiration. Anything else? Well, then, I guess we should stand up and make a circle. That's one of the things that was suggested for affirming community, affirming our connection with each other, and feeling it tangibly with hands. And we connect our hearts and minds, and we connect throughout time to people that have come before us, to people that are coming after us, to people that are with us now around Great Turtle Island is what the Native Americans call Earth. Okay, so let's declare for all of us the words of the prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Up tempo, fellas. Come on.